Preparing a live stream. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live.
Looks like we're finally live.
And here we go. This meeting is being live streamed. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's been a long 60 days.
Is that how long it was? 60 days?
60 days
Damn,
for something I posted 5 years ago.
you are a hoodlum.
I am a bad mofo. But Racist News Network is back. We are live and we are going to be, well, I am going to attempt to behave so we don't have this happen, because I think this happened to us at least one other time this year. So, but we came up with a solution that involved a little YouTube action. It woke up our YouTube page, so that was cool. But there's nothing as good as being live with our people.
Just so you know, I've never gotten a ban on Facebook. I'm just throwing that out there.
He's still young.
For another couple months, anyway.
No, yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, then you hit the big 5-0.
AARP card in the mail.
I've already gotten like 7 of them. You can have one of mine. So what's going on, Pete? How have you been, buddy?
It's been good. Battling a little flu and cough and stuff, but life is good. No complaints.
The plague making its way through the Senka household.
Yeah, my wife had a bout with COVID before Thanksgiving. Then we did some traveling for Thanksgiving. When we got home, we both wound up with the flu, and then she kicked it, but I can't kick the cough. And then I've got bronchitis now, so you know, it's just a winter blues.
Get older, they said. It would be fun, they said.
Yeah.
We're reverbing.
Mr. Keister,
Roberto!
What's up, guys?
we are reverbing through you, Rob. Could you turn your volume down or something?
I don't have a volume up.
All right, well, whatever. I don't think it's doing it now. Nope. So again, here we are. The band's back together. We are wrapping up the 2022 NHRA, mostly Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series NHRA Division 1 season. But Rob, your season's only been over for a couple of months, but you've been a busy little boy.
Yes. I don't know if I'm part of the band. I'm like the guy who plays the triangle.
More cowbell.
Yes.
I was just gonna say that. We need more cowbell.
More cowbell.
I figured it's your last episode of the year. I figured I'd come on and wish everybody happy holidays and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa. I know, for you, Pete, Happy Kwanzaa.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I have joined the crew of Chris Barnes of being banned on Facebook.
Have you really? Oh,
Welcome to the club, buddy.
How do you
Yes.
say that? You have been a little quiet lately. What have you done, you hoodlum?
It wasn't actually so much banned. I can post stuff. So for some reason along the way, I don't know what it is. From a post from 2018, I'm not allowed to create events on the Mid-Atlantic.90 site. They have banned me from doing such things.
All right.
Don't ask me why. And then when I've been for the past 3 months with the technical support trying to get it resolved, and they keep telling me I need to go back to the post and take the post down. And I was like, you do realize it's from 2018, and
Yeah.
for me to go back 5 years is quite impossible.
And what did they tell you? What about the post pissed them off?
It's literally a GIF or a thing of a wrestling move. I must have copied off of I must have copied off of or commented on somebody's post.
Right.
And it's literally a guy going down, coming off the ropes, and kind of putting his private area into, I guess, into somebody's face or something, whatever it was.
Right.
Whatever it was, it must have probably was, considering it's December, it's probably was football related,
Right.
living in Eagles world and stuff like that, probably something along the way with the,
So how does that affect your racing page?
I guess because it's all linked together, me
Oh,
being
I
the,
guess the same way Chris had an issue and it affected the RNN page, right?
yes. So I have been back and forth almost 3 months now with the technical support, literally telling them, guys, come on now. Like,
Yeah, right.
oh, and they keep on telling me until it's taken down from the page, we're going to ban you from this. And I'm like, guys,
So
I've gone back to that date and I cannot find out where this post is.
You got a permanent ban until that thing is taken down?
Yeah, they won't let me make events.
You would think if they're that pissed off about it, they would just delete it themselves.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Because every time I go to make an event, it pops up, says you're restricted for making events, somewhat restricted, this and that. So then I go to find out what it is. I find out what it is. And then I go to the technical support and I tell them, and I'm like, guys, this is almost 5 years old now. Like, I would love to be able to go back to that post and find out what is the thing and delete it. But honestly, I don't know where it's at.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Bad man.
So I guess I'll just have to get Dana to I make Dana admin on there and then do the events, have her make the events for me. So
Yeah, that's what we're gonna have a backup plan too going in for 2023 because we know Chris can't go any longer than like a month or two without getting himself in trouble.
Hey, I've been good.
Yeah, you're
The
great.
two that got me in trouble this year were from 3 and 5 years ago. Be quiet.
So all catching up to you sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
So one thing, and I'm almost afraid to say it because I'm afraid it might change because I believe we were in the same exact spot last year. But so far, it's looking like I'm going to be able to be a part of the memorial race.
nice.
Yeah, happy about that.
It's midsummer. It's no school.
Yep, very happy about that.
Yep.
And I probably won't make the spring Maple Grove race. And I love going to Maple Grove, so at least we'll have an excuse to go there. That's great.
Yeah. I have a meeting next Tuesday with them to go over the final the final, I guess you'd say, thing, so we can get a flyer made up and try to start really pushing it and stuff.
Right.
I think we're gonna kind of go in a different direction this year with it. I know in the hindsight of things, everybody loves the big money bracket races and stuff, but I think with the .90 and those type of racers, as much as we, anybody knows, anybody's got a race car, we don't like money, pretty much exactly, the way it comes down to it. But I think over the 2 or 3 years that I've done the big money race, you don't get the type of turnout you would really hope for the amount of money that you're pushing out.
Right.
So, I think the 10 grand, like I said, the first year we did the Dave Stein, we did 10 to Super Comp, 5 and 5 to Super Street and Super Gas. Last year we did 12-5 to Super Comp, and then 10 and 10 also to Comp and to Gas and Street. And, the car counts really weren't great to, do that type of thing. So, what we're probably going to end up doing, and I think it might be better and might help out with the car count, is we're actually going to do 2 5s.
Okay.
So do a 5 on Saturday and a 5 on Sunday, or 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday.
Yep.
For a lower amount. The way I think we're going to total it is be 170 both days. So when you if you decide to enter both days, it's the same amount of money it is to enter a national event. So national is 340. It would be 340 total.
Sure.
2 5s. I know some people might, we may even adjust it. I'm not too sure. I mean, it's just, we're looking at it, and once we look at some sponsors to come back on board, Jeannie Linky's working on a proposal right now for me for the event to try to grab some more marketing. I mean, sponsors are the biggest things. I read a post that was on Class Racer about why certain tracks don't want division races, why tracks, and really when in the hindsight comes down to it is that nobody really sees the backlog with what happens behind the scenes with these things.
Right.
The day-to-day operations and stuff. And when you look at a track, when you think about it, a track in Florida, a track in Texas, whatever it was, they can run 365 days of the year because the weather is always nice. Up here in the Northeast, we're lucky if we get a 7-month window between March to October. And some of the tracks this year, we had some pretty nice weather in November, so they pushed it to almost December.
Yeah.
Just to get that little extra push as far as money goes. But these tracks are not cheap to run. And
no, and the cooler it is when you're trying to push the issue, the more expensive it becomes too.
Yeah, because you have to put more and more glue down.
Yep.
In the summer months, you don't have to put as much glue down because the fact is that it's already hot, it's already greasy, it's already, and actually you don't want to put a lot of glue down on a hot and greasy track.
Yeah, it'll wind up getting slimy.
Yeah. So, it's a catch-22, but, a lot of people are like, well, there was rumors that this track wasn't going to have a Lucas race, and that rumor is in this, and and really what it comes down to is that, the tracks kind of, really have such an expense anymore. It's almost, I hate to say, not worth having a Lucas race because of the expenses all the way around. And let's be honest, we're not, packing the stands. I mean, I joked, I said, I think if we put John Force on the bill and said that John Force is coming to the Lucas race at Maple Grove, we might get like a full things of stands because everybody will be there because, even though he might not show up,
Right.
It's a funny story. I was good, still good friends with the Domino family up in Numidia.
Yeah.
And when we used to go up there for the .90 races, there's a local, well, he's no longer around racing Top Fuel, but I don't know if you remember, he's from your area, Connecticut, Rip Pastari.
Yep.
He was getting ready to supposedly come down and test for the Keystones, and he needed a place to come test. And I guess New Media was going to offer, like, hey, Rip Pastari is going to be here testing his Top Fuel car. So they posted it everywhere.
Sure.
He ended up breaking down or not making it, but they posted Top Fuel Drag Show New Media Dragway, and the stands were packed.
Really?
Yeah. But he never ended up making it that night. But, like it was, you put somebody's name up there that's a Top Fuel dragster, it's John Force, or it was, people come out and see it. So I don't know what we have to do is for the Lucas races to get more people to attend it. Hopefully with the new division director coming on board, and I know, speaking of Kaylin, she has some ideas up her sleeve, is that, you can, make it good. So
it's funny that you say that, because one of the best attended divisional races I have ever seen was in Virginia. Now, I only raced in Virginia a couple of times because it's a hike for me, but I do remember them doing, I won't get the numbers right, but you'll get the gist of it. It was like $10 a carload. And you literally, and I am not exaggerating, you literally could not touch the concession stand the whole weekend. The line was as long as, I don't care if you were starving to death. If you walked around the corner and saw that line, you'd be like, you know what? I could stand to lose some weight anyway, the hell with it. And you have to wonder, again, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes because I am not at all part of operating a track, but you would have to think that you would make so much more money doing something like that than just charging the, I don't know, whatever it is to get in, $20 a person or whatever it is, and only getting, 1,000 people. versus packing the stands, selling out of everything in the concession stand. I would imagine apparel flies off the shelves too. I don't know, they did, I think I raced there 2 years in a row, and they did it both years, and both years it was a packed house. And I often wondered why other tracks didn't do that.
A bunch of circle tracks up in my area have done the same thing. They call it packet track.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like, 10, $20 a carload, however many people you could stuff in your car.
Right.
Was however many people you could walk through the gate with.
Yep.
And again, okay, you get 5,000 people, 7,000 people, whatever.
Right.
You're 6,500 people for closer to than what you were at a normal divisional race, where you're
Right.
lucky if you get a couple hundred people in the stands.
Right. Right.
You gotta remember, that was the mindset behind ADRL when it first started out. When ADRL first started out, that was the mindset behind Kenny Nolling and his series, was that you let people in for free. And if you let people in for free, that money they would have spent on a ticket is going to go towards a hot dog, a t-shirt. So you raise it a little bit. So a hot dog might have been, $5 on a regular night.
So now it's
You make it
$5.50.
$7.
Right.
You make it $7.50. You make $2.50 extra.
Right.
Your
Right.
t-shirt might have been $20, or it was, hey, we're gonna make it 25. So you make up the money that is, the money that you're losing off of that ticket, or it was you're making it up in a t-shirt sale, or it was, and that was his thing. And if you ever watched the early days of ADRL, the places were packed. It was standing room only, for these events. And I don't know if that's something, we need to look into getting back into for
Right.
that. I mean, you got to look at, I'm a marketing, major. I mean, that's my degree in marketing, and it's how people wanted the best bang for their buck.
Sure.
It's just like you go to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and you say to yourself, listen, I don't mind dropping $200 to go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, where it was,
Right.
as long as it's not so much the steak and the food that I eat, but if the experience that I receive when I go to this place, where it was, I don't mind dropping $200 because of the experience I had, that I'm going to be able to go back 6 months later and be like, if Pete comes up to me and goes, hey man, we're going to PRI, where should we go to eat? Go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, beautiful thing. Go ask for Bob the server.
Right.
Because the experience that I had there was absolutely amazing, and it's something that I still talk about 10 years down the road, where it was.
Then it's money well spent.
That's what people want. They don't want to come there and get price gouged, $35 at the gate, just to get a ticket to come in, $10 to park, $7 for a beer, $20 for nachos. And next thing you know, when you got a family of 4, you got a family of, whatever, it ends up turning into a $500 day at the racetrack.
Right.
And people are going to say, whoa, I can't budget myself to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it's
Especially to watch those .90 cars that fall on their face on the starting line, right? Or
Yeah.
the finish line.
or the finish. I'm already past his hand, so I don't have to worry about it. They like that car's cool because he's already he's going full bore.
They're gonna go to throw some at you, and you're gonna be gone, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's someone definitely needs, and it's for the benefit of NHRA and the tracks. Someone definitely needs to figure out how to get more people in the stands and concession stands to make these events more profitable for everybody involved.
It's
Right.
profitable. It's
We-
profitable, and to make it more that more tracks want these events.
Right. Of
You know.
course, last year, it's funny that we're having this conversation, because last year we had more divisionals scheduled than any year that I ever remember racing. So now here we are talking about how not profitable it is, and we're coming off of the most robust schedule we've ever seen in Division One. So you just can't call it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was some, the reason why we had those 8 was because of some reasons from previous years of,
Right.
of the track possibly closing down and
Right, right.
not getting a divisional. And now they, were owed at 2 divisionals. So they, so we end up, some of us was great. I mean, for me to have 2 races in the backyard at ACO that are divisionals and one
Yeah,
at
right.
Cecil, one in the media, one in Maple, there was my 5. So it was
Right.
like, it hurt at the end of the year not having Virginia, hurt not having Rockingham as that kind of that crutch in case I suck the rest of the, I could go down to Rockingham. I wasn't going to go all the way down to Orlando. It just, some
Right.
crazy people always went out to St. Louis and Vegas and stuff like that. But, unfortunately, work wasn't allowing that. So I mean,
I know the feeling, my friend.
I'd like to throw this out is that one of the things that I've said, Pete's heard me whine about this for a number of years now, is the simple fact that Facebook advertising is free or cheap. If you sponsor an ad for the divisional race up here, you don't see anything. But I will say that New England has made a lot of changes and there's a lot more coming. So my hope is that they get a lot more advertising out there. I mean, the kicker is that there's an ABC affiliate 30 minutes away. There's the ocean is 15 minutes away. You got to learn to tie all these things together. Say, hey, there's a campground 20 minutes away. If you can't camp at the track, camp at the campground, make a weekend of it. You have the ocean, and everything else.
It's funny, I know a lot of people, like down in Jersey and stuff, where they will come up. There was a time, and I didn't pay attention to the schedule this year, but there was a time where Lebanon Valley and Epping were back to back. I want to say it was the divisional and then the national or whatever it was.
they're like that this year too.
Okay, so
Yeah, it
I
goes
know a
Maple.
boatload of people that would come up from down south, race the divisional at Lebanon Valley, go right to the Epping, and then make I think you start on Thursday, but they'd make 4 or 5 days out of it, stay at a bed and breakfast, go to the ocean, go shopping and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, exactly what you're saying, Chris. You would think that some advertising would jump on that somewhere and say, like,
Yep.
listen, this is what we have to offer. Come on up, enjoy yourself.
Utilize your resources.
Right, without a doubt.
And it doesn't cost you a damn thing for something on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, even
And
as goofy as it sounds, Lebanon Valley, one of the things that they do when they have their divisional is they do hey, if you're at the divisional and you want to go over to the circle track on Saturday night, if you're part of the divisional, $5 and go in and see what we got, right? It sounds like small, but you know what? It's just another thing to do when you go to a race. And a lot of people wouldn't know about it unless someone was talking about it. So I don't know why more places don't do that.
And as you know, Pete, 5 minutes down the road from New England Dragway is Star Speedway.
Right.
Call up Weber, make a deal, say, hey, look, well, let's advertise it for, like I said, $5, $10,
$5, $10, or
whatever.
carload, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you guys, somebody had a shitty night and they want to go blow off steam, they'll go down and watch the circle track guys bang into each other.
Right. And they feel good about themselves after they watch that, and everything's good.
Everybody's happy.
But I hate to say it, but I really think that it's tracks kind of need, and I see it with New England bringing in some of a younger management staff, I guess you would say, is that it's bringing in some new ideas.
Right.
And some tracks are that way, where they're kind of bringing in a newer, younger people, or it was to try to put their finger on with the pulse of what is new. Am I supposed to stop with the
No,
finger?
go ahead. He knows what that means.
That means he's next, Rob.
Okay. Because they had the pulse on what is happening in the thing that's going to make money, and some things, there's such old school mentality is that things that might have worked 30 years ago aren't going to work with today's age.
Right.
Because they're not going to want to see whatever they might want to see, whereas now it's like hey, we're going to throw an import race together. And next thing you know, you got 30,000 people and you got to shut down the road in front of the drag strip because
Right.
you're selling out,
Yep.
and it's like, listen, imports aren't for me, imports might not be for anybody else,
Right.
but hey, you gotta decipher from a different demographic that's around there.
Yep.
To make a track survive.
Gotta
And
give
that's
the
the big
people what
thing.
they want.
Yeah.
July 29th, 2023, I believe that's the divisional at New England. That's Jet Cars Under the Stars.
August.
August, okay. Well, either way, July 29th, starting at 9 a.m., Motorsports Industry Learning Experience. Free entry to students. Open to high school, career, technical programs, technical college, and others. Hear from guest speakers, industry leaders, expert drivers, and more. So Pete, that means you have to be there.
Yeah. I'm lining up
Tour
to-
the facility and get an introduction to drag racing, and that's at New England. They're also doing, let me see if I can find it so I can tell you verbatim what it is. On top of the fact that they're getting a rotator for next year. Dan Page is building it. I can't find it, but whatever. They're doing a drag racing 101.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the little bit that I've seen, that I've been paying attention to this year. Epping seems to be doing some pretty exciting stuff, which is great. I mean, it's, that drag racing 101 thing, I mean, that to me is brilliant. It would cost, I would assume, it would cost next to nothing to put on. And if you could get a truckload of kids or young adults in there to listen and get hooked. I mean, listen, we've been saying it for years. We got to do something to get new blood into the sport, right? We just have to. Our junior dragster program right now is probably bigger and better than it's ever been. I don't know that that's all we should be doing as far as attracting new people. I think we should, it's almost like we got our foot on the neck. We got to keep going. We got to still keep figuring out new ways. And I think this 101 deal is an awesome idea.
I just found the flyer. Drag Racing 101 at New England Dragway. Topics covered: staging lanes, water box, proper ways to clean off your tires, how to properly stage, where the finish line is located, where the turnoff of the racetrack is, explanation of the timing system, how to read your time slip, and more. And I know people like Dan Casey, obviously a national champion from last year in Pro ET from New England Dragway,
Yeah.
has volunteered to be part of it. I don't know who else is, but there's a lot of good racers at New England, and I'm sure they're all willing to step up and do their part to be part of something like that.
Now, one thing that I always thought was kind of cool is, and I don't even know the name of it, but you'll know what I'm talking about when I say it. Alan Reinhart and TJ Zizzo would do a thing where they would explain like staging beams or rollout or, the burnout process or whatever. And they would get up on stage and they would do it either in between the pro rounds or whatever. And if you ever went to a national event and you witnessed this, the stage was like 40 people deep all around it because people wanted to learn about this stuff. I know that there are a bunch of very knowledgeable people that go to all the divisionals. And I know there are people that wouldn't mind at all setting up a little platform and doing something like that. It's almost like it would be cool if the divisionals did a smaller scale of that. Try it. What would it cost? Walk around the pits, grab a couple of people and say, hey, would you guys be interested in talking to kids and stuff at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I know Super Street Racer Jay Neville works for Penco Tech.
Yep.
Which is a thing. So usually during either the divisionals or the open races, he actually works with the track to have them come down and bring like 2 busloads of their students.
Right.
Come on down and walk around and watch, and stuff. I mean, of course, but it's also one of those things where, besides talking to Jay and Bob Kirk, I think you know both of those guys, right? Pete?
Yep.
Yeah. So both of those guys both work at Penco Tech with their students, but besides talking to them, there's nobody else to really, inquire, any kind of information. So if they have a division race, say they have Top Alcohol, and I've had friends of mine stop by and come watch and I bring them around the alcohol pits, and I know everybody, so I'll bring them over. I'll bring friends over to Jackie, and Jackie will give them spark plugs and
Sure, right.
Richmond Phillips, whatever it was. But to actually have somebody like them explain what a alcohol dragster does, what does a comp eliminator does, what does a top sportsman do, what does .90 do, that would be great to do something like that at the divisional level, like they do at national events.
Without a doubt. Without it, I think it would be fantastic. And I mean, I know that there are a bunch of people that would love to talk and love to share some knowledge for free, knowing that they have a passion for the sport and they want to try and get more kids and people involved. Listen, I don't know who would ever want to hear me bullshit up on a stage, but if the division for Director 1 came to me and said, hey, you race Super Street at 5 o'clock on Friday when you're done with your last time trial, how would you feel about getting up on stage and talking about a throttle stop or a weather station or something? I would do it in a friggin' heartbeat. I would do it in a heartbeat.
When I
know
brought,
there's a boatload of people out there that would, probably be way more knowledgeable and just as happy to do it.
when I brought all those kids over that 3-year period
Yep.
to New England, the play, it was unbelievable. We walked, we parked, got out, started walking around, and as we all know, where's the first thing most people go after they get out of their car? Into their air-conditioned RV or their air-conditioned truck.
Right.
Depending how my run goes, sometimes it's to the core.
Yeah.
But yeah, what round it is, right?
Yep.
But when we started walking through the pits, it was like another parade of people. They were filing out of their trailers, out of their RVs. They were talking to the kids. They want to talk to these kids.
That's what I mean.
Even the old school guys, they want to talk to the kids and educate them.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
I really think, again, I'll give you another example. I don't know if they still do it, but there was a couple of year period of time where when we went up to Epping for the divisional, they had helicopter rides. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
Steve Contreras' brother.
Yeah, they had helicopter rides, and my kids, they were young. This is when they all came to the track with me and they were young, but every time we pulled out of the driveway, didn't matter if we were taking a right or a left, going, north or south, or are we going to the track with the helicopter? Right? It's stupid stuff like that. And I shouldn't say stupid because I have trouble fastening a seatbelt on a helicopter, never mind piloting it, but it's stuff like that
Out of the ordinary.
well, yeah, it's just another feature, another attraction to something that we're already going there for. It could make the difference.
Yep.
It's stuck in my kid's head, I'll tell you that.
Yep. So Rob, let's talk.
Yeah, no, we got off on a good half an hour topic on that one.
That's it. Well, are you kidding? We can make a 2 or 3 hour show out of that stuff. So you've dropped a lot of stuff over the past week or so. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I've been a busy person since the last .90 race of the year. We sat down, me and Dana both sat down, and we said to ourselves, we said, with the expenses of these tracks, 20 years ago, it was easy for us to bring a .90 class into Anaco or Cecil County, Maple Grove, and pitch it to the track owners, and they were totally on board, because the fact is that, throttle stops weren't as crazy as they are now. The cars were going 140, 150, people were able to understand them up in the stands, and everything. And as things progressed, like we just talked about with Pete saying about trying to get new blood into the drag racing culture. It's been tough, to get new culture, new people in there. And so me and Dane actually sat down after the season was over with, trying to like just do a review of the season on what we could do for next year. Everybody knows I kind of was given the top challenge series at Maple Grove Raceway after race number 1 of this past year. It was a series that was been at Maple Grove for probably 8 or 9 years. A few different racers ran it. Ed Foley ran it for a little bit. I think Ronnie Regal, and then the track itself. I had come on board in the end of the COVID year of 2020 and was helping out Sarah and Betsy at the track on trying to gain more participation through Facebook posts and things like that. 2021, we did a little more, marketing to try to get some more racers on board. 2022, we decided to basically combine Top Dragster and Top Sportsman together to form one series. So it'll be one champion. After race number 1, the track decided that they no longer wanted to continue the program, but membership was already in place. I didn't really want to tell these racers that listen, I know you already had 4 weekends scheduled for PTO time and such at work. Unfortunately, the series is not going to continue. So I decided to keep it going, run it on my own, and we ran it for the most part. Car counts were the Dave Steiner race in September was a killer car count for us. We had almost 33 top dragsters show up. We decided to go to an 8th mile format for that race. I know a lot of people don't like the 8th mile, the quarter mile. I see the argument every single time. Maple Grove posted their 2023 schedule today, and that was like one of the first comments. Are you guys going 8th mile or are you guys going quarter mile? So this past, over the off season, I started to research a lot of different programs that were out there that had run in Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, and try to figure out how to better off this series for, future endeavors. So I formed the Mid-Atlantic Top 32 Challenge, which is an offset of the Top Challenge itself. Basically what it is we're going to take the 16 fastest top dragsters and the 16th fastest top sportsman cars. They're going to have qualifiers on Saturday. We're going to have what they call a bad 8 on Saturday night. It'll be a $75 entry fee. The 4 fastest cars that enter in Top Sportsman, 4 fastest that enter in Top Dragster will run separately. They will not be laddered off of their qualifying times. It will be a chip draw. So first round you roll up. So it'll be 4 Top Sportsman cars up. There will be 4 chips into a bag. 2 will say 1, 2 will say 2. They pick, and that's who they're going to run. Same thing with Top Dragster. Until we get down to the final 2, it'll be a dragster versus door car. 2 fastest cars will run each other for the money on Saturday night. Sunday morning will either be a qualifier, depending on if I know more cars are coming in, or it'll be directly right in the first round. And you're going to have the fastest 16 dragsters, fastest 16 door cars run all the way down to the end till there's 1 and 1 left. And then they will run each other for the money. Now, if you don't qualify, there will be a consolation race for no additional charge. The $200 that you're going to spend at the gate, the $100 to get in, and the $100 to come give to me, that will be used towards the consolation race, which will pay out from the consolation race out of the money that's there. So, hopefully right now we already have 8 members already signed up for it, and looking to grow even more. Right now, I think based off of 32 cars with some sponsorship, it's $2,000 to win.
Nice.
We're going to do an overall points championship. We just signed a title right sponsor, and we'd like to welcome Dawn Malicello Realty to our group as the title rights, one of the first title right sponsors of the series. We are still looking for some more sponsorship to increase that overall championship, and of course the overall prizes. The Dave Stein race will be in addition. It will be the same amount to still get in, but the Dave Stein race will actually be more money to win. I believe right now, the way I have it set up, for the $200 entry fee, I think, hold on one second. With the sponsorship, it'll be $27.50. We get 32 cars. So, like I said, we done a marketing proposal with Jeannie Linky. Jeannie Linky has, done so. Right now, they are scheduled for 6 races along with the Mid-Atlantic .90 series. So the Mid-Atlantic .90 series will be race number 1 and 2 at April 29th and 30th at ACO. So they will run 2 races. The top challenge race will run 1. May 20th and 21st at Cecil County, which is the weekend before the Maple Grove Divisional. We wanted to try to get it at Maple Grove, but unfortunately they had already booked up with another event. So that will be the .90 series, top challenge, and another series that we're getting ready to announce also on here, which is the Mid-Atlantic Junior Dragster Series. Rich Prizer, which is a good friend of Pete Sanka, and drinking buddy of ours, as the minute I announced it, he texted me probably 2 minutes later. And he says, whatever you do, I want the title right sponsor of that series. So the Mid-Atlantic Junior Dragster Series will be sponsored by Prizer Racing. Rich is going to throw an additional $100 onto the winner's purse of each event. What we will announce tomorrow is that Frank Volpe III, we all know Frank, is also going to throw in another additional $100 to the winner through his plumbing business. I guess he does work for his pop, but he contacted me. And then Mike Newman, who runs Top Sportsman, is going to put a $25 best losing package up for the first round losers of each junior dragster. Now they will join us for 6 events. It will be best 4 out of 6 events towards a overall champion. We will have an overall Mid-Atlantic Junior Dragster champion. Chris DePasquale, Tommy DePasquale have begged me probably for 10 years now to put together a Mid-Atlantic Junior Dragster series for their kids. And I was always kind of reluctant against doing it. And it's nothing against the junior dragsters, but it's tough. It's tough to try to, you got .90 cars and then you have junior dragsters. It's like night and day. So I had to actually test the waters a little bit, which I did with a few events last year with the junior dragster kids, and realized how kind of fun it is for them, how, the camaraderie is with them. Number one, I get a lot of, not complaints, but a lot of questions on how we can increase our car counts with the .90 series. And one big thing is .90 racers have kids who run juniors.
Yes.
And they tell me on a regular basis, I don't want to drag my .90 car to your event and leave 3, 4, 5 juniors sitting in the trailer not doing anything because I can't race them that weekend. So, if you do something, it'll be great. So we will have an overall junior dragster champion. Count 4 out of 6 there. Membership for that is $50. We just started a Facebook page up for the junior dragsters. They will run May 20th and 21st at Cecil County, July 22nd and 23rd at the Dave Stein at Maple Grove, and then they will close out the season September 23rd and 24th at ACO. So Cecil, ACO, Maple, they'll run all three tracks, and there will be an overall champion at the end of the year, which they will get similar to the items that they get at the .90. They'll get a jacket, they'll get a nice trophy. We'll do a little presentation at our banquet for them.
Nice.
And actually, it'll be one champion overall. So what we're going to do is how we did it at the Dave Stein last year is we actually will split the age groups. I think it'll be 6 to 9, 10 to 12, and 13 and up. So the way it works is you'll run all your qualifiers. So the 6 to 9 guys will come down and run so just say there's 5, 6 to 9ers.
Yep.
And there's one car that's left. He will not get a bye. He will run the first 10 to 12-year-old that's there.
Okay,
And then if there's a bye in the 10 to 12, they will run the first 13 to 17-year-old that gets in. So it actually all comes down. They'll go on a ladder when there's 8 cars left, I believe.
Yep.
And go for there. So Dave Nahill and Ashley Payon are actually going to be the the people spearheading, helping out with that. I told Dana is that listen, I'm all about expanding, but I need a little help. So
right.
her soon-to-be husband, Dave, decided he wanted to jump on board. His daughter Bev is getting ready to jump into a junior dragster, and Ashley has 3 juniors right now, and I think eventually her other youngest, who just turned 3, will be getting into one, so they'll eventually have 4 probably.
Right.
So God bless her.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
So I figured, having juniors, they proved last year at the Dave Stein with 58 juniors that showed up for the Dave Stein race, that it can definitely be a killer a killer class. And then the top challenge series will run at all 6 races. So those races are April 29th and 30th at ACO, May 20th and 21st at Cecil, July 22nd and 23rd at Dave Stein, July 29th and 30th at ACO, which will be the weekend before the divisional at ACO. So if you want to come run, you're more than welcome to leave your stuff at the track. August 12th and 13th at Cecil, and then rounding out the season September 23rd and 24th at ACO. So that'll be 4 out of 6 races and stuff. And like I said, we just signed a title right sponsor with Dawn Malicello Realty. So we're happy to have Dawn on board. And we're still working on some sponsorship for the .90 series. But everything is looking great for the 2023 season. And, if you're interested in coming on board, we'd love to have you. And I'm actually going next Thursday to look at a bigger trailer because I've outgrown my little white trailer. So
That's pretty awesome.
Hey, Rob.
So, and when is your banquet this year, Rob?
March 26th,
And it is where?
Trevose, Pennsylvania. It's about outside of Ben Salem, probably 15-20 minutes outside of Philly. We'll have the top challenge series racers there. We're going to honor their top 5. We felt that they needed their accolades also, so we're going to include them with our .90 banquet. And then of course we will honor our champions also from this year, Chase Bonsock, George Donhauser, and the immortal one, Mr. Keith Mayers, adding his 7th championship.
Wow, 7, huh?
So I would like to offer for the juniors, for the winner of each junior race, at the national, we all know at the national event, they get the medallion, winner. Would like to offer that for the junior kids.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
At each race for the winner of each class. So
it's actually going to be one. So we're actually we're just doing one winner all the way across. If we expand,
they probably said that, and I had somebody chatting in my ear because he's got to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. So
Now, Rob, when you have a race,
Mhm.
is it going to be 2 separate races for the juniors like you do for the .90s?
yes. Yeah.
So they'll actually have 6 races that they're going to have.
Yes. Yeah. They're going to have 6 races, and they're going to count 4 towards their total points total. So they'll have 2 mulligans they can throw away just in case, for some reason,
Sure.
soccer comes up
Yeah,
or,
right.
they can't make it one day but they can make
Garage out of the motor or something.
Sunday.
Yeah, right.
Kids are always got stuff going on. So it's like, it's like crazy. So the first race at ACO, we will have juniors both days. But that is a ACO points race day. So it won't actually count towards the points for us. But, if you are interested, we will take applications, memberships. So if you want to get signed up, get that out of the way. I will have membership forms up shortly on the .90 the Mid-Atlantic Junior site for Facebook. We just just started that up this weekend or this past week. So we're growing as it goes. We've hired Ashley Payun as our full-time social media person. She will be doing TikToks and Instagram posts and Facebook posts. I'm a stubborn German, so it's very, very tough for me to give up a lot of my duties. But as we grow, I realize that, I do have to, I can't, thread myself so thin that, I burn myself out. So
No, it's actually, it's gonna get to the point where it's big enough where if you won't relinquish some of it, you're gonna be holding yourself back.
yeah. And that was that, Dana was a huge asset and a huge person to come on board. It's able to bring new ideas. Because sometimes, when you look at it, like we just talked about, that you're not set in a stone, but you're set in your ways of this is the way things are.
Yep.
And you got to bring somebody in from a different aspect, a different background to say, hey, you know what, maybe you should try this. Maybe we should do this a little different. Maybe you should add that, and with today's day and age of these tracks wanting, they're not willing to give up a prime real estate weekend for a couple of .90, categories when you're only bringing 80 cars or 90 cars or,
Right.
whatever else.
They
So it's
want
like,
300 cars.
yeah, so where do you draw the line? So it's like, listen, we can add this, and whatever else, and then all of a sudden, now you're bringing 300 cars. Now it's a profitable weekend for the track. It's they're looking at it come next year. It's like, oh, let's add the .90 guys because they're going to bring 250. You're going to bring 300 cars. So. And we'll be partnering up with Dave Lay's Stock Super Stock Series at 2 events at ACO. They have there's a couple of things. I think the July race is a double bracket race. We got a door slammer race and juniors and something else. I think the opener in April. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, Cecil is kind of just us, there. They don't really jam pack their schedule too much between the streetcar shootout races, Yellow Bullet,
Right.
That stuff was, that's their moneymaker. So, this is, good weekends for them. And, you bring 130, 140 cars, Jimmy and Chad are happy with that. So, they look at it as, you want to run your own junior thing, no problem, because you know what, they're taking in the money, they're not you're not having to pay for a trophy. You're not having to pay for a check. You're not having to pay for, whatever.
Right.
You're doing all the work, and, they're kind of reaping the benefits, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
Very
it's just,
cool.
hopefully, we've rebranded our name to the Mid-Atlantic Super Series. From the .90. I mean, we're still the .90 series. I mean, I've had a few people reach out to me and, how do you change our name and this and that, or, how do you add on classes? And I try to explain to them, like, listen, like I said, we only bring 80 cars or 90 cars to a track. It's very hard for a track to give us a prime weekend when they can be,
Right.
they can have an import race and they have 200 cars and 20,000 people there.
Right. Or the track is gonna start saying to you, we want X amount of dollars for the event. And then it's on you to bring the cards in. If you don't, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So either way, you gotta make it more, profitable, more desirable for everybody involved.
Yeah. And that's and obviously we learned off the Dave Stein race last year that money's not going to, it's a different demographic of people, I guess, that the money isn't a huge thing to them.
Right.
I know, it's tough. I mean, it's hard to say, somebody put $10,000 up to win and, you only got 34 Super Street cars. It was great for the 34 Super Street guys because,
Sure.
they took that risk to make their travel there,
Right.
but you also have the mentality of, what, maybe he's not going to pay out that 10 grand.
Right.
But then when you do prove it and you do pay out that money, they go, oh, I missed out on a, good opportunity. Or,
Right.
with fuel costs the way they are, and the weather forecast the way it looked on that Sunday,
Yeah, you
People
guys,
kinda
you definitely ran against the buzzsaw on that weekend.
Yeah.
I think that was about the peak of fuel prices.
Yeah.
And the weather was not favorable. Um, all things considered, you did okay. But boy, if the fuel prices were reasonable and the weather favorable, I would love to see what the turnout of that race would have been, because I have to imagine it would have been pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and we're hoping now a different date in July. That, this is midsummer. Yes, it may be a little bit on the warm side. But it's a catch 22. It's like, do you want it to be 40 degrees out and a cold track where,
Listen, we race in the Northeast and we race in
Yes.
July. It's,
so, what do you do? So, hey, we do in July. It allows us now to be able to run later on into the night.
right.
Maple Grove is always that catch 22 where, once that sun goes down, it's kind of like, do we continue racing because throttle stop cars are going quicker than they probably should for their indexes.
Right.
Now, what do you do? Now, hey,
Not getting any slower, I'll tell you that.
yeah, sun now will set at 9 o'clock,
Right.
and hopefully it'll be 100 degrees out that, we can run till curfew at 11 o'clock.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm really looking forward to attending that race. I know I've been a little jealous the last couple of years that I haven't been able to go. Definitely looking forward to racing that one without a doubt.
yep. And we're going to have the same things as last year. We're going to have bands, hopefully both nights, Friday and Saturday night. We're going to have racers barbecue on Saturday night, and, and move forward. And hopefully after the 27th, once I sit down and talk to them and stuff like that, maybe we can set it into a set deal where we're at that track for a while and people know when it is, and people know that every year that's going to be it's kind of like the Harrington. Everybody knows the Harrington race is going to come around each year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
But-
and with any kind of luck, we might be able to see Stalba make a guest appearance on stage again.
yeah.
Only if he sings.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Well, very cool. Like I said,
Good
you've been a busy little boy lately. So congratulations, to you and everybody that helps you out. So that's pretty awesome stuff.
Yep. So get over and share the pages, the .90 site, the top 32 challenge, and the junior dragster challenge where it was, and get those sites posted up for me and try to get some more views and more people, and hopefully we can make a bigger bang for the buck for you racers. So
Very
Well,
good.
You know that you don't need to hear this from us, but anything that you want to post on the page, you want to share, you want to advertise, whatever you want, you have free reign to it. So feel
I
free.
Do
appreciate
me a
it.
favor, when you have a minute, Rob, just post something on the RNN page, and I'm gonna click on a little button that kind of gives you free reign. You're not an admin, but you're able to post pretty much anything.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
It'll only cost you $29.99 a month, Rob. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Well, it's the Elon $8 charge.
I'll buy you a beer at the Echo Bar, Pete. How's that?
That's the deal. The hell
There
with
you go.
$29.99. I'll
Buy
take the
him a beer for me.
Rob,
All right,
thank
Rob.
you.
Well, very cool. Congratulations.
You've clearly been busy. We appreciate you taking the time. And as always, we love having you on. So thank you very much.
I hope you guys have a good holiday and Santa treats you well, and hopefully maybe there's a nice big motor under your tree there for you, Pete.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Rob.
Thanks, guys.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas,
man.
pal. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Merry Christmas, guys.
Same to you, bud.
All right. Rob Keister, the hardest working man at .90 Racing.
Yeah,
especially
boy, you're
in the
not
last
kidding.
couple of months.
You know, I love talking to him because you have a better chance of getting what's inside the promoter's head with him than you do more, right? Because who other promoters do we know that we're that tight with that you could really get a glimpse of behind the scenes? And you think from the outside looking in that he works hard. You talk to him and you realize he works really friggin' hard.
Yeah, he works a lot harder
There's
than
a lot. I
most
mean, this
people
is
are putting
not
out.
something that if someone said to me, Pete, go be a promoter, I mean, this isn't something that I could do 1 or 2 hours a night. I mean, you could tell the amount of time and effort that he puts into this whole ordeal, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, obviously, as most people know, I'm retired. I have all the time in the world. And I spend a lot, probably way too much time on Facebook, way more than I should. But doing stuff for our deal. But he's right there neck and neck with me
Yep.
as far as seeing that little green light lit up all the time.
Yeah, and now could you imagine having a full-time job on top of that? And I don't know if he still, I know he worked a part-time job too. I don't know if he still does. But
He does.
I
think
couldn't
that's what he
imagine
does.
having a full-time job and doing what he does. That's like a lot of stuff going on.
Absolutely. All right. So again, this is kind of our wrap up for the year. We're gonna go through a few things and then we got a couple of specific things we want to hit on. We talked about a lot of change coming at some tracks, and pretty much every track on the East Coast, I think, has bought new equipment this year. All the way from Virginia up to New England, a lot of the tracks have some new toys to play with.
Which is
Um,
absolutely awesome to see.
Yep. Mark Rowe and Dan Page over at Dan Page Race Cars are currently building a rotator for New England Dragway for their weekly program. Everybody knows what a rotator is. If you don't, we'll give you the Reader's Digest version. It has 4 tires, excuse me. They rotate in reverse as it is dragged down the track, and it applies rubber to the track, and it helps with prepping the track as well. So really cool that Dan Page and Mark Rowe stepped up and are building that under the supervision, of course, of New England Dragway President Paul Laurenti. So congratulations to New England. And again, I know for a fact that ADCO and Virginia got new equipment. I think Maple Grove may have got some new equipment on top of the fact that they just flat out got some new landscaping done and a lot of paint work and everything done there as well. For 2023, Laris Motorsports Insurance is throwing money at you guys who have their coverage through the Perfect Package Award. If you have Laris Motorsports Insurance and run a perfect run in 2023, you're eligible for $1,000 a race. Just reach out to Jake Green. He's the D1 rep for Laris. You can contact them at jake@larismotorsports.com. So very cool. That's awesome stuff. It's nice to see it stepping up. I've also read on a couple of websites that there's a chance that the winner's end of the prize money at the divisional level might be going up as well. So, Pete, your favorite person, 5-time champ now.
What could you say about her? You know, one of the things I love is overhearing somebody in the know, either on Facebook or like if you go to a national event or something, and you talk or listen to anyone that's worked with her and talks about how talented she is behind the wheel. It's really no surprise that she's accomplished what she has. I mean, they talk about shift points. Now you're hitting 4 gears, right? You start out in first. So you're shifting second through fifth, and 25 RPM one way or another makes a difference on the run. I mean, that's my car shifts itself, and I don't think it gets it within 25 RPM. She's pulling on a stick. It just she's very, very good at what she does, and it shows.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's my understanding she oh boy, Jason Lawrence. Oh, Pete, you got some competition for paint, buddy.
I saw it. Yeah, he sent it to me.
Oh, my. I forgot what I was gonna say. Well, it's interesting that you talk about, the competition side of things. As you know, that stuff's forever since I was a little kid. Everything in pro stock has been top secret, hush hush. Tell you have to kill you type things. But it was interesting. Both you and I commented the other day about somebody posting pictures of changing cam profiles in their pro stock motor.
Yes, that was, I can never say his name
Krasinski?
right. Kowinski, or yes.
Or
Yeah,
Kuczynski or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just cool to see because again, normally, that stuff's, cloak and dagger. You don't see it. And it was cool just to
Yeah,
see.
no, I mean, it's like again, for someone that is remotely in the know, the stuff that he's showing isn't new or surprising to anybody. I've never seen the inside of a full-blown 500 cubic inch pro stock motor. So for him just to show the picture of the camshaft, I don't even give a shit if it's a camshaft that they were using 10 years ago and it's outdated. It's still way more advanced than anything I've ever seen. So it's just cool that someone is willing to show that stuff to the people, especially that have never seen it before. It's like, holy Christ.
Right,
It's very cool to see.
right. Yeah, you harken back to the days when, Glidden got out of the car, threw his fire coat over the carburetors.
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
A la Bob Glidden, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk in general about the 2022 season. I mean, obviously you had kind of a tough middle and end.
I shouldn't. I didn't have great luck. I can't say as though I put a ton of effort in either. I only made it to one race. I had a little engine problem. We're still not entirely sure why what happened. I had a very good friend of mine helping me put the motor together. My regular engine builder, James, was with me taking it apart, and we're just kind of looking at each other like, I can't see where anyone did anything wrong. It just, something happened. But with that being said, I also didn't have a lot of time to put the effort in like I normally would on a racing season. So I'm not really going to say it was a bad year for me. It was just a year that I didn't have to dedicate to racing like I normally would. So
Right.
I'm not going to say it was bad. It was what it was.
It was what it was.
Yeah.
So you got to talk to some people that you normally don't get a chance to talk to. That was a pretty cool experience, huh?
When did that happen?
We had our interviews, some of our interviews.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Who did we talk to? We talked to the crazy motorcycle guy.
Steve Johnson,
Steve Johnson, thank you. Lionel,
Lyle Barnett.
thank you, yes. That was awesome. A couple other big ones, didn't we?
Yeah. Rob mentioned his name, Zizzo.
Yes, TJ Zizzo.
TJ Zizzo.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I know I gave you props before, I'll do it again. It's because of the time that you spend, and starting back to the Wheels Up days and how it's evolved and morphed, and the people that you've gotten involved. And yeah, I mean, I got to talk to some people that I would consider heroes in the sport, because of what you built. And you picked me to tag along with you for whatever reason. But I'm grateful. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. Appreciate the comment. Obviously May was a tough month up here in Division One. Not tooting our own horns, but we kind of took the bull by the horns and did a pretty cool fundraiser. and got a lot of people involved and helped out a family that neither of us knew,
Right.
literally did not know. They live 45 minutes from
I-
me.
It's funny because to this day, I still have not talked to or shook the hands of anyone in the Monroe family. And it's for no other reason that I just didn't spend any time at the track this year. And I am really looking forward to bumping into them next year and just shaking their hand.
Yeah.
And hey, welcome back, or great to see you, or nice to meet you. I do know that I had what I thought was a carburetor issue. And I believe it was Craig Monroe.
Yes.
He's like, I got 12 of them, I'll ship them to you, try them out, and it's honestly, he knew what we did, but I get the feeling that even if we didn't do a damn thing, he'd still be the type of person that would say, hey, if you need a carburetor, I'll ship you one and see if it works. Right?
Right.
Whether he knows you or not. Don Parise is a perfect example. As a matter of fact, I still have his carburetors in my garage. He called me up, I'm in Wallingford, come on over, grab a couple of them. It just speaks volumes to the crowd that we hang with and what the community's like. I mean, there are people that you've never met before that are willing to bend over backwards for you just because you're part of the big family. And I know that if we didn't do it, someone else would have. The amount of people that we had join in, it just speaks volumes for the sport. That's one of the things that I love about it. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's how I got my racing fix last year, without physically taking my car down the track, because I just didn't have the time to get it going. Just being involved in the show and that stuff I felt like I was just as accomplished last year as when I finished fourth in the division. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun year. It definitely got a little stressful during that whole thing.
Yeah.
But in the big picture of things, it was worth every bit of pressure that was.
Oh yeah, I would have taken the pressure 10 times over. Yeah, no doubt.
Yep. Like I said, we don't ever want to do it again, but
No,
we just
right.
do it again in a friggin' heartbeat for anybody.
Right.
I've heard from people all over the country, and a couple of people from across the pond, as they say, about that whole thing and during it. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, if it wasn't us, I know it would have been someone else. At the end of the day, someone in need got help. And
Yep.
who cares who delivered it, as long as it got delivered.
Absolutely. So, kind of wrapping everything up. Obviously,
You're really not gonna mention Brittany Force winning the championship? I mean, seriously?
I was getting there.
All you did was abuse her all year long with her reaction time.
It's your fault. You got me into doing that, you turd.
And I will tell you that if you paid attention to her reaction times in the countdown, she stepped up to the plate. She was lights out. She did good.
Yeah. So that's what, 2 for her, right?
That's number 2 for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Me. Yeah. It was you.
Right. I gotta have the fan mail sent somewhere. The hate
Yeah.
mail's gotta go to you.
I know. I have Pete's email address. Anybody needs it,
Yeah,
let
yeah.
me know. I'll gladly help you out. Yeah, it's a little crazy at the end. We got booted off of Facebook for 60 days, but that's all right. We figured a way around it. Woke up our YouTube page, which was good because that thing was on life support badly. We're going to be back in 2023, a couple tiny little changes. The biggest one really is just going to be until things get hot and heavy and rolling, we're probably going to go every other week. Obviously, if the off week falls on a race Monday, if you will, we'll come on. Actually, it's going to be on Tuesday because I have my work program Monday nights till May. But it'll be on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. Like I said, obviously, if a race weekend falls prior to that Tuesday, we'll come on. But if not, it's going to be every other week. We do have a sponsor for the PDs, our first annual awards show, also known as the Participation Trophy. And if anybody wants to know about the Participation Trophy, talk to him.
I'll let you know that I have absolutely nothing to do with this.
Lies. It's all lies. But we're going to be doing that after the first of the year. I have to get together with Allie Pettit from Duzen, and we're gonna have some fun. Me and Pete have a list. I already went through and made my nominations. He just needs to do his. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then we'll bang our heads together and figure out who's going to win a PD.
We also, I'm just gonna throw it out there that we are going to put a proposal together and work on some sponsorship money for the show for next year. We would like to do some more lives at treks, do some more stuff for the kids involved. As you heard, Chris wants to make the medals for the junior dragster winners for Rob Series. All that stuff costs money, guys. We do some advertising for the show. We want to be able to get Chris to the track so that he can do this stuff. And when I say sponsorship, we're not talking thousands. We're probably not even talking hundreds. Just, something to take the edge off of and let us be able to entertain you the way you guys like it and just not have it cost as much to us.
Yep.
So
I have a lot of intentions of doing a lot of live stuff at tracks that are easy for me to get to. I have travel issues. I need to usually have a travel buddy with me. So if it's not somebody that I know at the track, I have to recruit my wife or my kid to go with me to help me with my mobility stuff. But I've got a lot of plans. We're going to be also sponsoring a cooler at the Triple Tens at Lebanon Valley this coming summer for Vince's race. And we're actually going to be talking to him and his partner on that fairly soon. But yeah, a lot of cool things I want to do. And the things that we want to do aren't expensive. It's just a matter of getting there.
Right. And it's this isn't anything that's going to profit us. This is strictly going to be so that we could do more for the racing community. We've got Chris, who's willing to donate his time and effort. I don't really want him donating an excessive amount of funds along with the time and effort. So, you got a business, you want to do some advertising. Next year, this whole thing is going to look like that. I'll have a background. We'll have our sponsors' names on it. We'll do some advertising on our page, along with whenever we travel, maybe some banners hanging from my trailers or whatever. Like I said, none of us are getting rich. We want to be able to do more for the sport, more for our kids, and we need some help doing it. So.
Yeah, I've got 2 blank banners that are looking to be filled up, or at least have something on them.
Right.
So,
right.
And again, what we're looking for is reasonable and supremely affordable.
Yep.
So,
We'll
Well,
come
with
out
that
with some
being-
proposals after the first of the year. We'll hit up some people that we already know are interested. We might even just put it up on the page and see, who looks at it and who might be interested in it. So look for that after the first of the year. And like I said, you're gonna get a lot of bang for the buck because it's not gonna be a lot of bucks and your name will get thrown around quite a bit.
Yep. So And I'm working on new shirts. It's not going to be embroidered this year. It's going to be the Dry Star style material with our design on it and our sponsors' names on it. And I'll have one. Pete will obviously have one. So we'll get your name out there.
I like it.
Next Saturday, on Saturday night, Christmas Eve, I am working on my own crazy little version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So I am gonna go. Yes, it'll only hurt a little bit, I promise.
As long as I'm not
Oh.
involved, you can do whatever you want.
Actually, before I talk, we do have to say congratulations to Duran Settles for this year.
Yes, we do.
Divisional win, national event win, divisional super comp championship in Division 7. It was a huge year for him. He was about halfway through the season, probably major, and he was getting down on himself.
Yeah.
And
You also finished 9th in the world.
yep.
Forgot.
So huge congratulations to him. He wrapped up 2022 in a huge way.
And if you go over to our YouTube channel, we interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. And as usual, whenever Duran's on, it doesn't disappoint. So
Yep.
feel free to go check that out on the YouTube channel.
And Duran's still going to be a part of our team. It's just a matter of his schedule. So like I said, next Saturday night, Christmas Eve, I have my own crazy little version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" that I'm working on. I will go Facebook Live some point in time, not too late, and read it.
That's the captain of our ship, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, it does not pay to be normal. It really doesn't.
So on that note,
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.
and all that good
We
stuff.
will announce over the next couple of weeks our kickoff episode of 2023. But other than that, everybody, if you're traveling for the holidays, stay safe and have fun and enjoy yourselves.
I hope you guys enjoyed the final show of the year. We'll
Yep.
see you in 23.
All right, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you all in 2023. Don't forget, next Saturday night, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." You know. Have a great night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed our show in 2022. We look forward to coming back and entertaining everybody in 2023. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Take care.